We're Naik and Kim. We spent the month exploring Switzerland in wintertime, and we wanted to share with you our favorite places in this winter wonderland. If you want to see snow-capped peaks, crystal clear lakes, and fairy tale villages, there's no better place on earth than Switzerland. So here's our top 15 for Switzerland in winter. Let's start off with one of the country's crown jewels, Zermatt, the quintessential Swiss mountain town that is home to one of the most recognizable peaks in the world, the Matterhorn. The town of Zermatt is car-free, which adds to its old-world charm. The only vehicles you'll see here are electric taxis, horse-drawn carriages, and bicycles. The lack of traffic adds a sense of tranquility as you wander those beautiful cobblestone streets. Now, Zermatt has one of the longest skiing seasons in the Alps and over 360 kilometers or 220 miles of piste that cater to all skill levels. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a beginner, Zermatt has it all. But our favorite way to get down the slopes is sledding. Just rent a wooden sled, get in the cable car, and get ready to race down those hills. We're gonna give you some tips on where you should do this later. You can also go snowshoeing or tackle some winter hiking trails, or even better, explore the food scene. Zermatt is known for its great restaurants, which brings us to the next point, Swiss food. And I have one word for you, fondue. Specifically, cheese fondue. There's nothing quite like dipping chunks of crusty bread into a pot of hot melted cheese after a day in the snow. A Swiss cheese fondue usually includes cheeses like Gruyère and Emmental, which make up its rich flavor. And speaking of Emmental, consider visiting the Emmental region to see where this famous cheese is made. Many places offer tours where you can watch the cheese-making process and taste fresh samples. Of course, Switzerland is also known for its chocolate. Brands like Lindt, Toblerone, and Gruyère are iconic, but some of the best chocolates come from smaller artisan chocolatiers. Fortunately, there's plenty of those in just about every Swiss town, offering truffles, pralines, and chocolate bars that are almost too beautiful to eat. In general, Swiss food culture is all about comfort and quality. Even everyday dishes like Rösti, a crispy potato pancake, often served with eggs, bacon, or melted cheese, are really great comfort foods. Next, let's talk about Grindelwald. This is one of the most charming villages in all of Switzerland, and once the snow falls, it turns into a winter wonderland. I just love the cozy alpine chalets and all those beautiful twinkling lights. Nestled in the Jungfrau region, Grindelwald is surrounded by some of the most breathtaking mountain scenery, and the best way to see it is to take the cable car up to Grindelwald first. The cable car takes you from the village up to an altitude of 7,100 feet or 2,160 meters. This area is famous for its adventure activities, and in winter, a playground for snowboarding, sledding, and the so-called first cliff walk. Look at those views. You're standing on a metal walkway suspended over the side of a mountain with the white peaks of the Eiger and surrounding mountains stretching out before you. My favorite feature is that there is a coffee bar up there, so you can enjoy a warm cup of coffee while taking in the views. Now, for Switzerland's most luxurious adventure, the Glacier Express. This 8-hour train journey takes you from Zermatt to St. Moritz, cutting through some of the most stunning landscapes you'll ever see. You'll pass through 91 tunnels and cross 291 bridges, including the famous Landwasser Viaduct, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The huge panoramic windows give you a full, unobstructed view of the snow-covered forest, deep valleys blanketed in snow, and charming mountain villages. One of the highlights is passing through the Oberalp Pass, which is the highest point of the journey at 2,033 meters or 6,670 feet. The train interior is luxurious and comfortable. You can sip on a glass of Swiss wine and even enjoy a 3-course meal while watching the Swiss Alps unfold outside your window. It is not cheap though, with prices starting from 160 Swiss francs or $180 per person. Pro tip, make sure to book in advance because the seats fill up real quick. And if you're planning a winter trip to Switzerland, make sure Luzerne is on your itinerary. The medieval architecture, snow-capped mountains in the distance, and twinkling holiday lights make for a magical vibe. One of the first things you'll want to see is the chapel bridge, Kapellbrücke. This iconic covered wooden bridge dates back to the 14th century and is the oldest wooden bridge in Europe. Luzerne is also known for its impressive old town, Altstadt in German. And if you're visiting during the holiday season, the Christmas markets are a must in Luzerne. You can browse the wooden stalls for handmade gifts like ornaments, wooden toys, and Swiss chocolates, and don't miss out on the food. Try a warm raclette sandwich or grilled sausages with a side of mulled wine, which here they call glühwein, to keep your hands toasty as you explore. Moving on, if you are up for a road trip through one of the most spectacular mountain passes in Europe, you need to drive the Bernini Pass. As you climb, you'll see the landscape transform from quaint Swiss villages to breathtaking, snow-blanketed alpine terrain with snow-capped peaks and winding alpine roads. The pass reaches an altitude of 2,328 meters, that's 7,600 and something feet, making it one of the highest paved mountain roads in Europe. A must-see along the drive is a Lago Bianco, White Lake, and the neighboring Lago Nero, Black Lake, providing a striking contrast. The snow-covered mountains mirrored in the surface create perfect photo opportunities, so don't forget your camera. You'll also drive past the Morteratsch Glacier, an iconic stop that's worth pulling over for if conditions allow. If you don't want to drive the mountain pass, don't worry, you can also do it by train with the iconic Bernina Express that takes you from the resort town of St. Moritz in Switzerland all the way to Italy over the mountain passes. Trains are a big thing in Switzerland, and this one is a steal, starting from just 25 Swiss francs or $28 per person. Now, let's switch it up a bit with the city of Lugano in the Ticino region of Switzerland. This area has an interesting blend of Swiss and Italian culture. Especially in wintertime, Lugano has a totally different vibe from the rest of Switzerland. It's a little warmer and perfect if you want to enjoy winter without freezing your butt off. When we visited later in the season, it was already a toasty 18 degrees. The city sits right on the shores of Lake Lugano, which is this crystal clear lake surrounded by mountains. You can take a leisurely boat ride across the lake or hit up the lakeside promenade for a lovely stroll. The food scene in Lugano is totally different as well. Think rich risottos, hearty polenta dishes, and of course Italian-style pastries. And did we mention incredible Italian-style gelato that is just so good, even if it is winter? For a bit of culture, you can explore the Museo d'Arte della Svizzera Italiana or catch a show at the LAC Lugano Arte e Cultura. For a different kind of adventure, head up Monte Bre or Monte San Salvatore with the funicular. Both mountains offer panoramic views of the lake and the surrounding snow-capped peaks. And now, for one of the most beautiful views in Switzerland, Uschinen Lake, or Uschinensee in Swiss German. Located near the town of Kandersteg, this lake is stunning year-round, but in winter it is on a whole different level. Imagine a crystal clear lake surrounded by snow-dusted mountains and fir trees. I mean, Disney could come and make a movie right here. The lake often freezes over in winter, creating the perfect spot to go ice skating. If that isn't your thing, there are plenty of winter hiking trails around the lake that offer fantastic views from various viewpoints. Getting to the lake is part of the adventure. You'll take a scenic gondola ride up the mountain from Kandersteg, and once you're at the top, you can either hike or, even better, take a cozy sled ride to reach the lake. It's a fun way to feel like a little kid again, a little kid having the time of their life in Switzerland. Next up is Interlaken, perfectly nestled between Lake Thun and Lake Brienz and surrounded by the iconic peaks of Eiger, Mönch and Jungfrau. This town is known as the adventure capital of Switzerland. If you're looking for adrenaline, winter sports here are top-notch. Skiing and snowboarding are major draws with easy access to renowned ski resorts, which we'll talk more about later. Or you can even try paragliding. If you want to do the best thing there is in Interlaken, don't miss the Jungfraujoch, also known as the top of Europe, for panoramic views that will leave you speechless. The journey there on the Jungfrau Railway is an experience in itself, taking you up to 3,454 meters of altitude. That's 11,300 and something feet. You'll pass through tunnels carved out of the mountains, and at the top, you're surrounded by a sea of white peaks, and on a clear day, you can see as far as the Black Forest in Germany. At $250 per person for a ticket, it is eye-wateringly expensive, but we have a cheaper alternative coming in just a moment that is definitely the most fun winter train ride in Switzerland. Interlaken is a dream for those who enjoy more relaxed winter activities as well. Winter hiking trails and snowshoeing paths weave through the snowy forest and along mountain ridges, offering peaceful moments surrounded by nature. One of the best trails is the one around Harderkulm, known as Interlaken's local mountain, with its sweeping views of the lakes and town below. Next up, if you've ever wanted to try skiing or snowboarding, Switzerland is the place to do it. The country is home to more than 350 ski resorts, and here are the 3 best options. First, St. Moritz isn't just famous, it is legendary. Known as the birthplace of winter tourism, St. Moritz has hosted the Winter Olympics twice. The resort has over 217 miles of ski slopes and an average of 322 sunny days per year. The skiing here is world-class, with well-maintained slopes and challenging runs as well. The vibe in this resort is very luxurious, with high-end boutiques, gourmet restaurants, and glamorous events like the white turf horse races that take place on the frozen lake. Second option, Davos, is perfect if you crave a mix of outdoor adventure and culture. It is also the highest town in Europe. With over 186 miles or 300 kilometers of piste, Davos is a skier's paradise, and its snow parks are perfect for snowboarders looking for some freestyle action as well. Cross-country skiing and winter hiking are also really popular here. And then third, there's Gstaad. This picturesque village is famous for its high-profile visitors and elegant vibe. Gstaad has 137 miles of ski slopes that cater to all skill levels, making it a great option for family and beginners as well as experienced riders. While you're down there, don't miss the Gstaad Palace, a fairy tale-like hotel perched on a hill that looks even prettier when it's dusted with snow. Even if you're not staying there, seeing it light up at night is probably well worth the visit. Moving on, if you're heading to Switzerland, you absolutely have to visit Zurich. It's often thought of as just a financial hub, but this city is so much more. It's a blend of old-world European charm and beautiful lakeside views. Start in the Old Town or Altstadt. This historic area is like stepping back in time with its winding cobblestone streets, medieval buildings, and hidden courtyards. You can explore landmarks like the Großmünster, a striking twin-towered church with roots going back to the 12th century. Climb to the top for a panoramic view of the city and Lake Zurich. It is well worth the effort, especially on a crisp winter day when everything is blanketed in a light layer of snow. Speaking of Lake Zurich, walking along its shore is a highlight, especially if you're there in the colder months. Just bundle up, grab a coffee from a local cafe, and take in the stunning views of the Alps in the distance. We love Zurich so much that we almost moved here at one point. Bahnhofstrasse is another must if you're into shopping or even just window shopping. This street is one of the world's most exclusive shopping avenues, lined with everything from luxury boutiques to high-end Swiss watchmakers. Now remember that fun winter train ride we promised you? Well, you have to visit Gornergrat, located close to Zermatt. To get to Gornergrat, you take the Gornergrat Railway, which is Europe's highest open-air cog railway. It's been running since the end of the 19th century, which already makes the trip feel a bit historic. The train ride climbs up to 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet above sea level, and the views along the way are worth every second. You slowly make your way up the mountain through snow-covered forests, past charming Swiss chalets with panoramic views that just keep getting better and better. And then when you reach the top, the real fun begins. The first thing you'll see is the Matterhorn, one of the most famous mountains in the world. But there is more. The Gornergrat Observatory gives you a 360-degree view of 29 other peaks that are over 4,000 meters or 14,000 feet high. So how are we getting back down the Gornergrat Mountains, you say? Well, we're sledding, of course, with a view of the famous Matterhorn. The runs roughly follow the train route, so once you get down, you can just hop back on the train, go back up and sled back down. What an adventure. A half-day Schneespaßpass, which is German for a snow fun pass, for the sledding. It costs only 75 Swiss francs, that's $85. And the train ride itself is included in that price as well. It really is a fantastic deal. For a really unique winter experience, head to Château d'Oex in January for the International Hot Air Balloon Festival. This charming mountain village turns into a spectacle of color as dozens of hot air balloons from all over the world take to the sky. The next edition is from 25th of January to the 2nd of February 2025. The festival isn't just about watching balloons take off, though. There are tons of activities and events for all ages. You can even book a ride in one of the hot air balloons for around $400, which will give you an unforgettable view of the Swiss landscape. Just imagine soaring over the Alps, wrapped up in your winter coat, looking down at the snow-covered valleys and tiny villages below. If going up in a balloon isn't for you, don't worry. There are plenty of spots around the village to just sit with a hot drink and watch the show from the ground. And then, sleeping in an igloo. Who needs hotels when you can sleep in an igloo in the Swiss Alps? Switzerland is known for its igloo villages, and they're more popular than you might think. Places like Igloo Dorf Zermatt, which is built anew every winter, offer igloos that are intricately decorated with ice carvings and ambient lighting. Some igloos even have themed rooms with artistic touches that make you feel like you're staying in an ice hotel. Imagine spending the night surrounded by glistening walls of ice and snow, bundled up in cozy layers, and waking up to the crisp mountain air with breathtaking views. And don't worry, you're not going to be cold. These igloos are built with insulating snow walls that actually help trap the heat. You'll be provided with expedition-style sleeping bags that can handle temperatures as low as 40 degrees Celsius, so you'll stay warm and toasty all night long. Plus, many igloo villages offer upgraded experiences as well, like romantic suites with fur blankets and even private hot tubs. And if you're planning a trip to Switzerland, don't forget about Basel. It's a city that's often overlooked, but it's got so much to offer, especially if you're into culture and history. First of all, Basel is perfectly situated at the border of Switzerland, France, and Germany, so it has this unique blend of influences that you can see in everything from the architecture to the food. In the cozy old town, one of the highlights is the Basel Minster, a stunning Gothic cathedral with twin spires that give you amazing views of the city and the Rhine River if you're up for climbing a few steps. Speaking of the Rhine, this is also one of the best spots to walk in Basel, especially in the evening when the city lights reflect off the water. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more travel guides.